Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for the 17th of August, 2000, not 2000, yeah, 2010. And we're going backwards through NXT in an interesting way. Man, this show is rough back here. This is I guess they call it second season. And they bring out all the pros as they normally do. They're getting primed and ready for another elimination. And ultimately, everybody stands out there, then they do the promo thing. Percy Watson talks about 3D, and Alex Riley talks about himself because, well, that's what he does. Offhand, I am lost as to what Curtis Axel, aka Michael McGillicuddy, thinks about. Loki, though, does a rap, which is interesting. If you've never seen it before, it's more personality than he's generally, I won't say ever shown, but certainly either he did something with this or somebody wrote him something that was very kind because it works out. Anyway, McGillicuddy comes out with MVP, and ultimately, I mean, they're 13 minutes into the show before they even get a match into the ring. Zack Ryder is here. Ryder being used on Raw and other places, but goes at it. I mean, basic match, nothing to write home about. McGillicuddy is the most successful pro in that way, and actually ends up being just an interesting run there in terms of Ryder, who's a babyface, is backing off, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. They're trying to make, I assume, McGillicuddy a babyface because he's on the show, but he's portraying a heel half the time. So really, I mean, it's goofy. They go brawling on the floor, dive over the top by Ryder. Ryder basically or he slides out and kicks him, and then goes right down into a more traditional fighting stance. Actually, Ryder, by nature, takes the majority, well, maybe not the majority, but more of the match than one would expect. Back elbow by McGillicuddy, and Kofi Kingston actually looks on nervously from ringside. McGillicuddy also hits a stinger splash. Turnabout's is fair play, and Ryder eventually getting his comeuppance back a little bit and gets the victory. And Kofi Kingston has to go back into the situation. He's not a fan. Lay Cool is interested in what's going on with Kaval. Husky Harris tries to flirt with Michelle McCool, which does not go well for good old Husky. Husky's record, if it counts, is 4-3 on this particular program. And I mean, it's, the fact that he would be one of the bigger stars in the company with the Bray Wyatt thing years later, I think is a little interesting. Husky and Low Key are going at it pretty aggressive, assertively here, and vertical suplex. And actually, I will give him some credit in terms of hitting a couple of knees along the way while up in a suplex position, him being Kaval, double chops and whatever. I understand why they changed the name, but if Kaval's the best they got, maybe you need to run away with it or do something. Anyways, sit out body scissors by Husky Harris, and that doesn't go very well for him either. Several more shots at Harris, and Kaval manages to actually, I guess, bite his lip maybe or something of that nature because he ends up bleeding a bit, which is not where you want to be. Kaval misses a shot in the midsection and a modified rock bottom by Harris gets him the victory. And ultimately, the cool girls are not impressed with any regularity of this. Then we go back to after a brawl and a series of things from Raw, hype for the upcoming Night of the Champions pay-per-view is also here. And an attempted cutoff. Kofi Kingston, who had challenged The Miz either last week or this week, but challenged within the last little while, is here. Kingston and The Miz are in the middle of the ring. Basic pro match. Miz is dominant early. Kingston hits the ropes and starts to use his speed to his advantage. That works out pretty okay. Doesn't get everything he wants from it, but gets enough, I guess I'd say. Kofi around and hits a modified boom drop. And again, as aforementioned, doesn't get all he wants out of it, but gets, I guess you'd say, enough. Anyway, Kofi eventually gets the victory here with the modified boom drop, and then you'd kind of see, them talking about the Stand Up for WWE movement that was running at the time, and Michael Cole in the ring kind of talking a bit, everybody kind of talking, and ultimately we see more tie to eliminations, and Percy Watson ends up in a rough spot, and they also end up kind of going into a elongated elimination. I don't know that sequence is the right word, but it's here. And they kind of end up talking about things, and a brawl post that when there is an elimination that everyone doesn't agree with. Low-Ki goes after Husky Harris. Harris, I believe, has been eliminated, and there are challenges in that. So we will be back with more right after this.